Hello YouTube. So in this video I'm gonna talk about my grandpa's death. He died 3 years ago. Was it 3 years ago, Mum? He died 3 years ago, and he was 88. Was it 88? And he was. I thought I thought it was crazy how he was so persistent on living. Like I remember 2 days before he died, I was at the hospital with him, and they had there was the strollers, right? And he made it his mission to use the stroller, and he would he would use all his energy to try to do a lap around the hospital. And I just thought that was just so extreme to me. When I saw it, I was just thinking, like, how is he trying so hard to stay active or stay alive? Like, I mean, I didn't know at the time that he was going to pass in 2 days, but like seeing the dedication he had, like he'd get maybe halfway around the hospital ward, and then he'd have to take a break, and then he'd rest for a bit, and then he'd keep going. And I don't know, I think I thought if I was in his position, I'd definitely try to relax more. I wouldn't be pushing myself, near the end of days, just to, it's just that crazy will to live is something that I think affected me quite a bit. And I remember having conversations with him, and he'd tell me, "Oh, Frank, you gotta watch out for women." I remember he would talk about my grandma, and he would say, phải cẩn thận đàn bà. So what that means is like in English, it's like you have to watch out for women because they can be very dark. I thought that was kind of funny thing that he shared with me, that during the last moments that he was around, he was giving me that warning. And I remember the day that he passed away. He was at a nursing home next to a temple that was going to hold the funeral. And I remember that night that he was gonna die. I was laying out a bit far away from his room, and I was trying to get some sleep in. And I remember it like so clearly that while I was dreaming, I remember seeing in my dream, I saw like, like the life force of someone just going to another dimension. And when I woke up from that dream, I thought immediately, oh crap. I think the first thing that came to my mind was I think is dead, or along those lines. So I rushed, went to his hospital bed, and just to check up and everything. And that was the last day that he was going to be alive. But I thought it was crazy that I got that big sense that his life force was slowly transferring to another dimension. And I remember afterwards, going into the room and being a bit surprised, like, oh, he's still alive. And he was surrounded by my aunties and uncles from my mum's side, and they were doing the Buddhist prayers, so I joined in. And this was about 4 a.m. So we were praying with him, and throughout the whole day. And I think there was a part of him that didn't want to go yet. I think he was waiting for someone to come, like maybe another uncle to come before he's like, okay, this is enough, and then to go. I remember the head monk came by from the neighboring temple to basically get him ready to go. And I remember one thing that so they used a lot of strong painkillers, the opioids, to ease the pain. But when I look back, I think it wasn't I don't think it was the best option for him. I think there should be better options available. And I remember the seconds before he passed away, I remember that I wasn't as emotional as the other family members at the time. And I think that I think it was due to having the dream at like 2 or 3 in the morning, and that kind of got me mentally ready to think that, oh, yep, he's gonna go. And it was difficult. It was definitely difficult. But Yeah, he's a great guy. He he worked his ass off. Uh, uh, from when he was little. He was the captain of the fishing boat. And I think he spoiled my grandma rotten. He he was like a very traditional man. He wouldn't let her do anything. he he did basically all the manual labor work, and yeah, he's a good guy. And I learnt I learnt that the his eldest son actually I only found out 3 years ago that his eldest son was actually not his biological son. That they chose to adopt him, and I think it was lucky that they did, because my grandpa's adopted eldest son ended up being the captain for the ship that that got my mum's family from Vietnam after the Vietnam War to Hong Kong. And so I think that goes to show that the karma, that kind of karma worked out well. Yeah, it's tough. Because he was like a good friend. In Canberra, I felt like many times I felt like I was one of the few guys that could understand what he truly wanted. Like he didn't know how to express himself with words well, so just kind of like reading between the lines was something that I got good at. For example, sometimes he would be really tired, and I could see it. I could see it on his face. He's really tired, but he doesn't show it because he's like trying to be manly, you know. But then, you know, when those times happen, like I had to suggest to him, you know, we gotta get you to a hospital or something, because you know, it's not good. One time he was staying at an apartment that I was renting in Double Bay, and he struggled to go up the stairs. And by the time he got up the stairs, he was like, his face was like white. And that was when I just knew, like, oh, we can't keep you here. We gotta get you to the hospital. So we did, and it worked out well. One thing I learned from this experience was that it's important to get your vitals checked when you get older. And that's because the doctors found out that his liver was his kidneys were functioning really low. So they were down to like 1 or 2% of their functioning because of the medication he was taking for his heart and stuff. But so if they had done the checkups, the medical checkups earlier for the liver function, he might have lasted another 5 years or so. But hindsight is 2020. You can't. It's difficult to cover all the bases. And the other thing I think I understand is that when someone dies, I don't think that they just, that's it, like they just completely dead. I think that their actions and everything that they've done carries on to throughout the world, and so it's like thầy Thích Nhất Hạnh say the cloud never dies. It's just like the water. The cloud there, it becomes water, and then it comes back. It turns back into, it evaporates and comes back into a cloud. So I think it's not something to be too sad about. If when someone does die, because we might not be able to interact with them in a physical form, but they're still hanging around somewhere. And in fact, I would argue that my grandpa is still alive in my mum. See, it's half of my grandpa, half of my grandma, still alive in my mum. So I don't think my grandpa is completely dead. And by that logic, I think he's still alive in me. So grandpa, grandma goes down to mum and dad, and goes down to me. So I think having that understanding that we're still alive in our parents and our grandparents gives us that understanding and helps us to overcome the grief. I remember when I was at the hospital with him, I just started a business that was making money, and I didn't know how serious my grandpa's hospital visit was going to be. So I've been to hospital with him 2 or 3 times in the past, and I thought, well, this could be just another one of those times. He'll be all right. But so that's why I thought, have these 30 people from different countries that are relying on me for their income. If I don't send them money, then they're gonna find it difficult to buy food. And so so I had to tell my grandpa, when he was at the hospital, I thought, I told him, I gotta go back to Sydney for a bit. I'll be back soon, but yeah, that was one of the things that I thought was felt a bit bad about, but I just didn't think that it would happen that fast, and I guess life can happen that fast, and I think it's good to be prepared for times like those, because you just never know. Mm. Anyway, that's me talking about how I dealt with my grandpa's death, and I hope there were some parts that you could learn from, and see you around.